Jason, I'm curious, you had mentioned that you found that manual of SOPs in the
Yeah.
attic, or that's kind
Yeah.
of what I envisioned. I don't know if you said attic,
It
but,
was.
okay. Yeah. So, where I'm sure you're not using that exact same manual from the attic
Right.
every single day on the shop floor. So where is that today? Is it in, you know, the box or drive or wherever? What does it look like now? Is it printed out sheets that you pull for each project? What does that look like?
So good question. So right now, the way that, and even in my past, the way that it works, you've got printouts, right? I mean, I think some
Okay.
of the folks on the shop floor in your warehouse, they need a physical copy, whether it's, an iPad, maybe even.
Yeah.
So it's, but there has to be something accessible for them in their workspace. Then the rest of that stuff has to live in the cloud or on your server somewhere, right? Like you've got to be able to go back again to make those tweaks and modifications, and then it has to update everywhere. So if you do that there, you're printing out new stuff for your shop floor folks. You are constantly updating. But I think it lives in a couple different places, and I think that's okay, because the challenge that I've always issued to my team is, look, if you're asked to do something and you see a different approach, write it down, mark it up, and then let's have a conversation. And then we can easily go back and tweak that and reissue it if it's the right move. So it does need to live in a couple places, in my opinion. And I know, again, technology is great, but the reality is the guys and gals that are out there doing this work, they may not have access to an iPad or a cell phone
Mhm.
or whatever,
Yes.
but they can go right to the job board or right to the, whatever's next in the queue and say, oh, okay, these are the projects that are next, but right here is my reminder of the SOPs.
Yeah. No, that's great. I think the big thing that like that you mentioned is having that access and that physical copy. Um, I think if someone's working a desk job, then having it on the computer makes
Yep.
total sense, and using some of that technology
Sure.
is infinitely easier. I
Sure.
think when you are in the field, you're not going to be able to use the highlighter that easily if it's not printed out, right?
Right. Right.
So I think that's a great example and thing, a case to make. I think another thing that comes to mind with a lot of these processes that have like a desired output. Hey, at the end, it needs to look exactly like this. This is how you assemble this. It's really helpful to have videos. What do videos look like for you guys in SOPs? Is that something that you're creating?
Great question.
Absolutely. It is a great question. I think, that goes back in my mind, Khalil, to how you're onboarding and training your teams, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people learn better from watching and
Visually.
seeing
Yep.
versus
Yeah.
hearing or reading. So, if you can educate them and again, have the person that really understands intimately those SOPs, yeah, create a video or even put one of the best things that we did was we had physical pieces in our facility that looked the same, right? They looked
Yeah.
identical, and and we used it very successfully in the hiring process. Take someone back and say, "What do you see here?" They don't know the right answer. You know what's good and what's bad. So if someone would say, "Oh, these things look exactly the same to me," I instantly knew that they weren't detail focused enough to work in our business. But if they
Mm.
would say, "Well, I'm not sure about this, but this might be wrong or this might be wrong," now all of a sudden you know that they're paying close attention. They will want to learn and understand what those SOPs are,
Yep.
and you can leverage that going forward. So that
Yeah.
was a great thing.
We had
So
Khalil, we did an episode. I mean, Khalil was an early reminder in my life about when we started on this about making time to do those things and ultimately creating a guide, right?
Mhm.
That just imagine, you could do that as well. We were talking about doing it for the customers. So if ultimately your website it starts off with 5 tips and 10 and 20, and then you have 220 things. Any question that a customer could end up asking you about what you do or how you do it or what your offers are, they literally you can send them a link and say, this is what we do or how we do it. And that is so powerful. I think most people are visual learners nowadays.
yeah.
I
So
mean, what's the old adage of a photo's worth 1,000 words, right? So we talked about a 53-step SOP.
Yeah.
Drop in a
yeah.
couple photos and cut that thing down, right? I mean, make
Exactly.
it easier for the end user.
I
Yeah.
forget the source. It was like
I
Business
think
Magazine. They say that the human mind responds 68,000 times faster to a picture, to an image, than it does to words.
And think
Yeah.
about your own experience, right? People don't read like they used to read. They just don't, right? Everything's while things have become more visual, it's not about
Yeah.
a novel of SOPs. It's about what matters and how can you articulate that in the most efficient manner possible.
Yeah.
Because again, I think it's changed a lot over the years.
Absolutely. I think personally, my opinion is that both the video format and even if it's just you talking, even that video format can help a lot.
Yep.
But it's important to also couple it with the writing. I think a
Yes.
lot of times maybe there's a video that's 7 minutes long, but if I had the writing there, I could scan to find my question
Mhm.
and I could look at that SOP and I could be done with it in 15 seconds.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really valuable piece. Also, if you are using technology and have them in the cloud, videos aren't necessarily searchable.
Right.
But when you have the text there, you can search it and find the
Yeah.
answer to a question much more easily. I think access is a really important aspect of SOPs. Like
Mhm.
if you build it and then you just have it on the shared drive that only 3 people on the team have access to, no one's ever going to use it.
Great point.
One great example of this that I saw at a cabinet manufacturer, that every single step, like if you were walking through the shop, every single step of the manufacturing process that you went through, you'd see QR codes throughout. And all you do is you scan the QR code and the video pops up and shows you
Nice.
exactly how to use that machine,
Nice.
exactly how to, what at this station, this is everything that you can be doing. And sometimes you'd scan it and it would actually pull up multiple different videos and you could choose the one that you're actually looking for. But I think the access piece to SOPs is really important because I know there's people that have built SOPs before and then they're just filed away.
Correct.